Timm, and I am the outdoor learning coach at the Oxford Hills School District, and I joined my principal in Creek, writing the pilot 3 years ago now.
I'm Beth Clarke. I'm actually currently the principal of Woodstock Elementary School in SAC 44, and I'm the former principal at Agnes Gray Elementary School. And I co-wrote the pilot the first year with Sarah.
The impact on students is certainly, to me, it's all about engagement and movement and connection. Kids are connecting with each other and absolutely with the natural world in ways that they often don't have the opportunity to outside of school. So getting them off the screens and into an engaging outdoor setting is really key for me. Even some of our youngest students and our most struggling students are able to really pinpoint what it is that speaks to them about these kind of opportunities, and they have said things like, when I can hear the stream, it makes me feel calm. And that was the words of a first grader who had some really difficult indoor classroom struggles, but he was able to articulate that, which spoke volumes to me. Impact on teachers. There are still teachers who struggle with the idea that we're putting more on their plate, and not so much that we are inviting them to take something off their plate and put it on this other plate, which is better for kids and better for everyone. But teachers who have taken that challenge and run with it, like our Dawn, whose voice we can hear, I think it's been really life-changing for them. The experience is more rewarding, and they are absolutely committed once they see how kids are reacting and changing and growing as learners and as human beings. The SEL aspect to this has been a lot bigger than I had ever imagined. And in terms of myself, I guess I didn't realize that this was my destiny until Beth created the opportunity for me, because I'm not somebody who says no to things because it might be difficult and complicated. I say yes to everything and then I wind up doing a half-assed job with some of those things. But this for me has been life-changing, and I feel like this is absolutely the rest of my career. Like, this was my stepping off point, because I taught inside for 20 years, and then 3 years ago got to begin my career anew outdoors, and having been brought up with outdoor experiences and having raised my own kids with these kind of experiences, it wasn't, I mean, it was always there, but I felt like I was supposed to be inside. But then because of these incredible opportunities and because of all you hardworking folks, I'm like, this is it till till the day I retire. And I'm super fascinated about how much more can be done with it. Like, how much more is there to know? How much more can I do? How much more can we do? So I'm working on exploring what it would mean to get a PhD in what's happening with kids' brains and their bodies when they're outside, because I want to know more. Because obviously we're on to something here.
Beth, what is it like for you to hear that?
It makes me really proud. It gives me hope. The fact that a district as large as Oxford Hills has decided to commit to this type of learning, pre-K through 12, it's pretty monumental. And it's not something we ever even thought to aspire to when we were writing the pilot, for sure. We knew that what we wanted to do was kind of create an incubator at Agnes Gray and grow and cultivate and problem solve and all of that, in hopes that it would take seed and grow in the other elementary schools, which it has, and exponentially. I mean, the fact that it's in the middle school and it's in the high school, and your superintendent committed to a whole PhD thesis on the power of outdoor learning and what it does for kids is, I mean, that's really significant. So it's funny because I'm like Sarah in that I go with my gut. When something tells me it's right for kids, I'm ready to jump in without really having all of the answers, or not even really sure of what that path is going to look like, but know and trust that we'll figure it out along the way. And now, because of what we started here in the district where I'm an administrator, it's where we're at, and it's our hope just as much as it was our hope here that that things will come to fruition, and we are. Our school, Woodstock Elementary School, has a yurt. We're raising chickens. We just put in a forest playground. We have kids transferring from other schools into our school because of the philosophy and the opportunities for kids. And a traditional, within the four walls of a school summer program for at-risk kids that's traditionally been housed at the bigger elementary school in South 44 has now become an outdoor experiential camp for at-risk kids at Woodstock Elementary School. So first summer ever.
So you have someone look after the chickens.
We have for 4 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, plus Beth and I are now college professors. Last summer we wrote an mostly online course with a week at camp, and had students from around the state.
Undergrads and graduates.
Yep. But a lot of it was online. And this year we were able to rework it for mostly teachers from this area, where we meet once a week at a different location. Like we met first at Woodstock, then we met here, then we met at Roberts, and we're continuing to have that opportunity be a big part of the course to see what outdoor spaces might look like at each of their schools.
With the goal of having a course like this be required for teacher training in the state of Maine. It's on the course list. We won't be teaching it again anytime soon, but the hope is that other courses similar to this will be offered through Maine at different locations within the system. Yeah.
I went to Waterford Elementary, which is part of our district, and the principal there was this wonderful man named Tony Waldire, and he was very outdoorsy, and we did have some experiences because of him, because he was a teaching principal of 5th grade. I went and I didn't set foot in Waterford for a long time, and then because of my coaching went back there and realized that since he passed away, a fence had gone up, a chain link fence in between the playground and the woods, and you know that's a very clear message. There wasn't even a gate in this fence. It was just so one amazing thing that's come of this experience is to get to go to Waterford. I hired Tony's son, Gardner Waldire, who was a forester, to clear the woods so we could have a forest playground there. He put in a gate. He built a trail. We're creating a forest classroom in that space as well. And then next week is a ribbon cutting to open that space and dedicate it and call it Waldire Woods. So full circle, we're getting kids back in those particular woods again.
I think, as I get older, that happens, and I think about so much about who I am as a leader has to do with nostalgia. It has to do with going back in time and thinking about what my childhood looked like, and you got home from school and you had a snack and then you were outdoors until you got called for dinner. And what we've tried and are trying to create for kids feels really similar to what our afternoons and our early evenings and our weekends looked like. It was about multi-age collaboration. It was about taking risks. It was about playing together. It was about problem solving, getting into fights and solving those, figuring out how to solve those problems yourselves. Like such a level of independence that I feel like when I look at so many of our kids' lives after school, it doesn't exist anymore. And so I kind of see what we're doing as a training for these kids, so that when they're out of school and they see the benefits and the power of this kind of play, that they'll seek it out and they'll be champions for it. And it is happening. It is happening. It's all anecdotal data, but there are kids who are climbing trees for the first time now in the yards because we have trees to climb in our forest playground. So nostalgia plays a large part of who I am as a school leader.
What advice would you give to teachers and administrators who, see all of your schools doing these amazing things and maybe are apprehensive or don't even know where to begin? What advice would you give them if they want to create similar experiences, if they want to bring outdoor learning to their school, make it meaningful?
Take our class, KP 4.
Okay. We might have to bleep out the exact, no, I'm teasing.
I'm kidding.
So aside from taking their class,
I feel like for me, it's don't give up. Because this has been a rocky road. Lost Beth, lost the superintendent, got the superintendent from hell, lost the assistant superintendent, lost our financial person. Then Martin died, and that, not that I was working it was just like, are you kidding, universe? What the hell? And then we lost our school. But so the original view that we had of this project that Beth referred to is this was going to be our special little heaven and people were going to come and just be amazed by it. All of that, literally all of that has changed. But it has morphed into this district-wide amazingness. It morphed into something completely different, which is not what anybody would have ever guessed was going to happen, but it's impactful. Certainly, it's in a lot of ways. It has a whole different list of benefits, and particularly to kids, because there are kids going outside at all of our schools now, instead of just right here. So my message would be, even if you lose everything, if you believe in what you're doing, which of course we do from our very core, then just keep going.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback on that. I think, the word initiative is a pretty dirty word in education, because these initiatives, depending on who's in charge, they come and go like the wind. And people start to lose faith that this really is something that I want to invest in, because first of all, it's hard and it's new, and you may not have the support you need, and it may be fleeting. And so I think whenever you embark on something like we did with REV, first of all, don't call it an initiative, because it's gonna turn people off. But look at it as an opportunity for kids and for teachers and for families, and know that it's going to be incredibly hard, demanding work, and it's going to take a lot more time than you expect it to take. But don't give up on it. And if you feel like you need to find people who are like-minded, right, to support you, but you also need to be seeking out people who don't understand why you're doing what you're doing, and provide them opportunities to learn from watching and from listening. We talk to our students. I feel like not so much SED 17 teachers, but teachers from other districts talk about, how do we get people to listen to us? Why? And that's part of what we're trying to encourage them to do, and to provide them with strategies that can support them. And just learning the why. Like, research is powerful. It's powerful, powerful stuff. that's not just opinion, documentation. So try to provide opportunities so that folks understand the why, and then showing them the how, and showing them what can happen is super, super important. And that's why these RREV visits they're so impactful, and they have to keep happening.
Mm-hmm. What do you hope to see, to hear, to be experiencing in relation to outdoor learning in your district? 10 years from now, 2034.
I hope that it has been so successful and impactful that it's the norm, and that plugging kids in to computers sitting at their desks has become archaic, because it certainly, technology has been so heavily embraced as a nice, easy answer. I'm hoping that people are going to realize that that is not the answer just because it's so easy. That working hard to get kids engaging experiences, meaningful experiences, is gonna become the norm, because people will be able to see, even at our tier 3 schools, that it is what needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a lot of hopes. Probably the biggest one has to do with having teaching outdoors as part of a required methods course for teacher training in the state of Maine to start, and then across the country, so that they have practical experience, and they've got research, and for students to come out of college already having had an experience teaching outside would be incredibly impactful.
Having been a classroom teacher and living in that world for so long, it's been really interesting to be able to step out and to work with so many different people, like you folks, and then the top administrators in the district, down to the pre-K teachers at the far reaches of the school district. It's been really fascinating to work on this project with so many different people in so many capacities.
Mm.
And I've certainly learned as much from that opportunity as from all of the other opportunities this has provided.
I think just the level of support that the structure of RREV has provided has felt incredibly important to the success of what we've accomplished. Taking that first course, I mean, there were definitely some flips with the focus, but we were already developing a cohort of folks to collaborate with then and now, and that lens of collaboration has filtered through every step of the way, whether it be through all of you, working with other coaches. I just knew that at any point, if I had a need or a want or had a question, there were folks I could reach out to, and not just within Oxford County. And that isn't, you don't typically feel that way as an educator in rural Western Maine. You feel pretty isolated, and this was the opposite of feeling isolated. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that.
Thinking about teaching before, what it looked like 10, 15 years ago for you, and then thinking about now, what you've been describing, your pilot, won't use the word initiative, and this learning experience for kids. What 3 words come to mind if you could only use 3 words to describe it? But we do allow hyphenated.
Mm-hmm.
Perspective. Let's come up with
Are we
3
going
together.
back and forth?
Yeah.
Engagement.
Joy.